Welcome to Rimshots with Sean here, right here on Eastlink TV, and I have with me Taylor Milne, all the way from you're in the Valley, correct?
Yeah, Wolfville.
Wolfville. So, one of my, every time I go down that neck of the woods, I always think, man, that would have been a good place to have gone to school had I gone to school. I almost did. I actually almost played soccer for Wolfville back in the day. Very nice to meet you.
You too.
So, I happened on your Facebook page, owner director at Maritime Model and Talent Management, owner at the Thirsty Smuggler. Hire. I mean, you got a lot on the go.
Yeah, I'm quite busy.
So tell us about Maritime Model and Talent Management first, because I've been involved in that business before. It can be a tough business. I guess you must it must be a good sign that this new soundstage is coming to town.
Yeah, no, that was a good eye opener. I didn't realize that was coming. But with the agency, so I've kind of I've been in the industry for about 10 years now, just doing like acting and modeling myself on the side. Um, and my agent, Cheryl Schaff, who's she's had this agency now, she's built it for 35 plus years. She kind of decided that it was time to retire and move on. And didn't really have anything lined up with what that looked like for like all of the talent. And it just kind of happened. We just started chatting and yeah, here I am.
Well, I mean, the industry, if you're not involved in it, it almost seems underground, right? Because I mean, I'm involved in music and I know some things in music, but I have some friends that are in the film industry, and you hear, oh, this is taking place and that's taking place, and you're not really dialed into it. It almost seems like an underground thing.
Right. Yeah. And for me, I know there's a lot that I don't know. Which is exciting in some cases to like, because even with my 10 years of experience, that was only one part of it, one aspect of the whole industry. And one thing that I want to, because so there's lots to learn.
Right.
So and then another part of it too is maritime model and talent. So right now, the agency is kind of focused mostly on acting and modeling,
Mhm.
but the word talent is very broad. And moving forward, I kind of want to go more into that and explore what talent can look like. So, like musicians, comedians, public speakers, things like that, right? Because the word talent is just so broad.
It is, and there's big agencies, there's small agencies, there's boutique agencies, there's people that handle themselves. I mean, I can tell you from being a musician that on the one hand, I don't mind paying somebody for doing the work for me. On the other hand, if you're paying somebody and they're not doing the work, it's kind of a catch-22. But any musician really, while they're their best representative, they might not be their best representative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense too. I guess right now I don't have I know it can be a lot bigger than it is,
Right.
and I don't have a specific vision per se, but I'm kind of going to see where I can take it.
Well, you know what though? That's a great response, because a lot of people kind of do you get the 30-second elevator pitch, and they have something that's about this big that they blow into like a McDonald's franchise, right? And then you get there, and then the office is not a real office. It's like a card table, outside of an office building. So to be able to I guess take talent on and say, hey, you know what, here's where I am, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think that's a pretty honest answer that people would find refreshing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And for I always say too, you don't know what you don't know. Um, so I know there's a lot out there that I'm not even aware of yet. So I'm kind of excited to dip my toes in to see the opportunities, I guess.
Well, and we always talk about networking on our podcast, because I mean, people, I grew up, I had a 20 plus career in corporate sales, and networking is a huge part, but people don't understand that networking is just meeting. It's not like closing a deal the second you meet somebody. Right here, we have a networking opportunity, you and I talking for the first time. And I think that there'll be some opportunities both ways that might come out of it, because certainly, there's all kinds of people that I know are always looking for representation. That you do it, I don't. Hey, I'd be happy to say, go call Taylor. She knows what's going on, right?
Right. And I think the networking piece for me is with, I have a lot going on right now outside of the agency, and that's kind of the piece that is holds it all together is the people, the networking. I like connecting, kind of that whole piece too.
Well, it's an important, and I mean, I know a number of people in your industry. A good friend of mine started it as a prop person, has moved on to directing and producing, and she always talked about the fact that you meet somebody, you listen to what they're doing, you take all the information in, and I guess catalog it in your brain, and at some point use it if you get another opportunity. So I think in your business it's very similar to music. The networking piece is huge.
Right. And I feel like, I like what you said there. Like, I feel like every person you meet, you learn something from too. Whether that's good or a good thing or a bad thing, you're still learning. And I kind of like that idea, especially meeting people from all over the world and different aspects of life. And you learn a lot, and but it helps you learn a lot about yourself too, which is
Well, it doesn't, and something that always stuck with me, and I use it. People go like, "Oh my God, here he goes again with the analogy." But how you walk across a minefield? It's like, do you go across and just run across and hope for the best, or you figure somebody out that got across and you follow in their footsteps, right? And that's, I think, when you get around some people, I've had the opportunity to get around all kinds of people, and if I'm sitting there telling somebody who's done something that I haven't, that I know more than them, that kind of doesn't make me too smart.
right. Yeah. Right now, I'm just ready to kind of be a sponge and absorb everything I can at this point, because I'm coming into this knowing that there's a lot that I don't know.
So it's pretty
Um,
fresh for you, like you said. Like, so when you say you took it over, like how, I guess, how quick are you, or how long are you into the process right now?
I'd say about a month.
Okay. Well, and you know what?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And right now it's just kind of trying to figure out people names, how to invoice, the different frameworks that were already kind of set in place, and seeing if they work for me or if I need to kind of adapt them.
Fair enough. So you know what? We're going to take a little break here. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back here with Taylor. We're having a great conversation, folks, and I think you're going to learn something on this one. Back after this. Welcome back to Rimshots with Sean, right here on Eastlink TV, and here with Taylor Milne. And so you're going to be taking this on as a business owner. So you were an actor and you were involved in the business before. Do you have any worries, or I know for me, when I got involved in, I'm a drummer, and go up and play, fine. To go up and record, fine. You get involved in the business aspect of things, and you go like, and you kind of, oh, what have I done? Have you had that hit you yet, or are you still kind of learning?
I don't think I've had enough time for anything to hit me really. It's all still kind of just very new. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I really like the business side of it. Um, so I'm hoping that I don't know.
Well, no, and I mean, there's no wrong answer. At some point in time, and I'm not saying as an actor you wouldn't be successful, but I find it's interesting that a lot of actors become producers or directors, and I've always thought, hey, is it, it's obviously the creative side. There might be a better opportunity in terms of, income and whatnot, but it's always the creative side. But I think as creative people, because you got to be a creative person to be an actor, musician, whatever, you're always looking for that next challenge, right? You just don't want to go, I've done it. You're looking for the next thing.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I actually thrive on challenge. That's what gets me going through the day, as challenges. So I think that's probably an aspect of what this is. I think too, when people maybe like start as an actor and then go maybe to a producer, it's another one of those things where it's, you don't know what you don't know. And they knew that they wanted to be involved somehow, but then they realized that maybe it was the producing piece that was kind of for them.
So, I mean, you would know this. A lot of people, they've heard about it, but I mean, to hear, I guess, straight from somebody that's gone, there's a lot of rejection in your business. There's a lot of rejection in my business, right? Um, so I'm guessing you've gone through some of that. Hey, maybe you've got every part that you went for. I don't know, but do you think that dealing with that will help you with your clients when you start to get things going?
Yeah, and I think it's important that in this industry, like mine and yours, that mindset's a huge thing. And kind of having a strong mindset of knowing that it's not always going to go this way, but it's for a reason, and not taking things like that personally. Like I know for acting, if you don't get the part, it's because it might not even be you weren't the best or whatever. The director has in their head what they're looking for, and it just might not be you. So to not take it personally, I guess.
So that's interesting because I mean, obviously, there's a lot of factors behind that, and I always laugh when you see shows where somebody's an actor and they're going for a part and they don't get it, and you don't really get the what you just mentioned, like the director's going for a certain look or a certain vibe or a certain personality, or they think that that person can convey that. Um, I think taking things personally though is something that I think would be a very hard part for a lot of people.
I haven't mastered it yet,
Yeah.
but in theory, I hear that's what that should
Fair
be.
enough. Fair enough. Well, I mean, it's like I don't know, in your business, like you can always spot the musicians when you're playing. They're in the back of the room with their arms folded, not drinking any beer, and they probably get in free. So, is there that? What's your industry like in terms of support and camaraderie? Is it good? Is it competitive?
I'm still trying to figure that piece out.
Okay.
I'm sure it's quite competitive. Um, I know there's been some tension, I guess, with my agency and a couple other agencies in
Okay.
the past. I don't want that. I mean, there's only so many agencies in Nova Scotia. None of us are going to kind of make it anywhere if we don't support one another.
Yep. Yep.
And I've talked to a couple people about that, where if we're just going to do it all on our own, we're just going to keep recycling Nova Scotia money. And to kind of get beyond that, it's kind of has to be a team effort.
Yeah. You're in it's interesting that you say that because the music industry here, and I have this conversation with people all the time. Um, it the same people seem to keep popping up, and people get maybe a little miffed about that, but there's a reason why that happens. I know why it happens. There's politics and everything. Let's call it what it is, right? But there's
Yeah.
also people that are out there making things happen, right? So I mean, you can sit there and try to figure out why, but really, at the end of the day, you can get just as much action as the other person if you figure out what the stream is and how it's going.
Right.
Fair game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like what in the modeling and acting agency, like there's a look, and just like everything else, it kind of changes. And kind of if you don't have that look right now, then I don't know.
No, I mean, I get you because about 7, 8 years ago, I had the perfect look for Sons of Anarchy Thug Number 3, season 4. Um, but all joking aside, and that part, because when I lived in Toronto, actually, we used to do a lot of extra work, which was kind of fun. So when there was downtime in music, you would go, and stand there and be on a TV show, and it paid well. Long days and stuff like that, but you got to see, I guess, how I don't know what the word. There's, acting in parts is not necessarily like this big fun thing. It's very sterile and static sometimes, almost like recording an album, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll sit there for 10 hours for 35 seconds of dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that too. A lot of background work, but it's such a huge industry, and like there's so much to it. So like acting, there's like you said, it can be I don't know. There's a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to go back to this piece a bit, but in a minute. But as I'm going through your profile, you have another little venture that's going on that I saw some video that looks like it's a pretty good time. Why don't you talk to us about that?
The bar business there.
Yeah.
I'm also a teacher.
Well, I saw that as well.
This is all just all the stuff. Yeah, I'm busy.
Well, but I did want to. I tell you why I didn't want to bring that up because I often interview quote unquote famous, rock stars that have day jobs, and they're always like, don't say that I'm a park ranger, right? They want to keep that secret. Like if the cat's out of the bag, it makes them look. So I saw that on your profile, but that you brought it up, that's fine.
It's the valley, honestly.
Fair enough.
I am on Eastlink too for Ocean Playground, so.
Oh, is that right? Well, hey,
Yeah.
there you go. Maybe we can get a couple people going to the golf tournament there next summer or something. You know what? We're going to take one last break here and pay a couple bills on Eastlink TV, and we'll be back after this. We'll hit a little laugh there in the commercial break. I am Sean, Rimshots with Sean here in Eastlink TV with Taylor Milne, all the way. What part of you said Wolfville?
Wolfville, yeah.
Beautiful part of the country. Beautiful part of the country. Great summer down there this year.
A little rainy.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, rainy, but I mean, make the best of it.
Well, that's Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah. No, the views are amazing here.
So, talk to me. Like I say, I saw we got the school teacher part, and then we ran out of time in the segment. But the thirsty smuggler. Now, I saw some video. Tell me about that because that looks super interesting.
So this is also a new business venture, but it's a mobile bar business.
Okay.
So the Thirsty Smuggler is the name of the mobile trailer bar. So you can hire us. We roll up, we open up the thing, and we serve booze, mocktails, coffee, for lots of different events. A lot of them are weddings, but we do like birthday parties, backyard barbecues, family reunions, anywhere that someone wants a beverage service, I guess.
Be interested to ask you, in setting that business up, because I know so I stage a lot of my own events when I do them. So I have a band that we go and we get the hall or the venue. And when it gets to the part about the liquor license, it's, you might as well be rolling dice or playing snakes and ladders. You never know what's going to happen. Was it hard to set up your business with that part of it?
So I actually have to get a liquor license for every event that we do. It's for a separate license.
God, I love Nova Scotia, eh?
Yep. But I mean, some events we don't necessarily need a license, I hope. Like on private property, when we're not actually selling the alcohol and we're just kind of giving it away. Like let's say for a wedding, for example, the bride and groom purchase, you kind of pay per head count. And then so their guests can all have an open bar. So we're just there. Open.
Yeah, the rules are fun, right? On a Saturday you can have this provided there's 50 people, but on a Friday you can't have it if somebody's wearing a blue dress. And anyway, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I mean it. I guess my point is that sometimes the stuff in this province isn't conducive to business.
No, it allows a lot of gray areas. I like to think in my head.
Well, and it's good. Some would call them incentives, others would call them loopholes, but yes, you're right.
Well, I said I thrive on challenges.
Well, and you know what?
And there's a way around it.
There you go. And negotiating that, there might not be a bigger challenge in the province than trying to get a temporary liquor license as somebody that's tried to do it. My good friend Chris Potty, who was on the show last week, works for that department of the province. He knows I'm just kidding. So, what do you think's going to happen with the soundstage now with this whole, and obviously they announced the funding. It's not going to be right away. Well, I'll do a two-parter. You were in the business when funding got cut.
Yeah.
So I heard from a bunch of people. I saw what happened. When I guess the message was, oh, you know what? It's not that bad. There's actually better funding you can go for. Was that true or was that not true?
I'm gonna say not true.
Okay.
And I think right now there's a weird shift in the industry too, which is a big part of the reason why, like my agent, it kind of wanted to get out. She's like, the shift is so different
Right.
from when she got into it 35 years ago. And like right now it's hot with like brand ambassadors and like TikTok and with social
Right.
media. And a lot of people will do stuff like that for free. And that's kind of the struggle that I've seen. Why would you pay someone money to do something that you can go online and get someone to do it for free for you?
And you know what the answer for that is? Because when you pay somebody, it'll actually be done well. We go through this in the music industry a lot. And, the joke is play for exposure, or why am I paying you this when I can pay that guy that? Because that guy might not show up, or that guy might not know all the songs. There's reasons for it. And I get where your agent is coming from, because, she probably saw a number of those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And probably get to the point where, you know what, I don't need another one. I get a young lady here with fire in her belly that's going to keep it going. So I get that. So does that shift in the whole thing? Does that scare you at all?
No, again, it's a challenge,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if as humans, if we don't learn to adapt to our surroundings and all the changes that are always happening, like we'd be screwed. So this is just one more change that we kind of have to adapt to and figure out how it's going to work.
Fair enough. So I started this podcast. It was actually kind of funny. I was doing a sports radio show on a community-based station, and I just decided, hey, I'm going to go back to interview my musician friends. 5 weeks from now, I'll be playing again. Here we are 3 years later. The interesting thing is that I do on a regular basis media in like places like Los Angeles and Phoenix on what it's like up here in Halifax. But yet in Halifax, nobody will touch me for whatever reason, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. Do you get some of that with the people that you work with?
I haven't come across it yet.
Okay.
I know for me, a lot of it, like Halifax is that's where everyone is. And
Yeah.
I'm just a little valley girl. I'm just coming into the big city, and I don't know.
Well, you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad I stumbled upon your press release when it came out. It was actually one of those suggested for you ones, so we must have some people that we know in common, which is pretty cool. Anybody that wants to find out more about what you're doing, where do they find you?
You can find me Maritime Model and Talent. You can Facebook, Instagram. There's the website www.maritimemodelandtalent.com, or if you're looking for the bar side, the Thirsty Smuggler or Hire a Bartender events on Instagram, Facebook.
Well, you know what? Thanks so much for doing this. This was an absolute treat. We messed the night up, but that's fine. We got her done, and let's stay in touch. I think I'd be really interested to see how it goes for you. I think that you have a great attitude for this, for a business that can be brutal. So thanks so much, Taylor.
Well, thanks for having me.
At Eastlink TV, Rimshots with Sean. We'll see you next week.